The streets of Lagos were alive with the spirit of Christmas. Twinkling fairy lights adorned every corner. The December sun hung low in the sky, casting its warm golden glow over Lagos, bustling with the vibrant chaos that marked the holiday season. Vendors lined the streets selling colorful fabrics, garlands, and Christmas decorations of all sorts. Children are seen running around as cheer filled the atmosphere. The smell of roasted chicken meats, turkeys, and goat's meats filled the air, making a sweet combo with the aired smell of hot jollof rice coming out the windows of different houses. Chioma adjusted her gaily as she walked briskly down the street. She was on her way to St. John's Church, where her youth group was rehearsing for the annual Christmas play. Chioma was known for her radiant energy. She was beautiful too. Her smooth brown skin glowed in the sun, and her smile could light up the darkest room. Yet, as vibrant as she was, she had never felt drawn to anyone romantically. Until she met him. She first saw June on a crisp December morning when her cousin Ngozi dragged her to the bustling Oshodi market. Ngozi had insisted on buying fresh tomatoes for their family's Christmas stew. Chioma had reluctantly agreed. As they rounded a corner, Chioma collided with someone. Her basket tumbled to the ground, scattering tomatoes everywhere. She looked up, ready to apologize, and froze. Standing before her was a tall young man with striking features, jet black hair, warm brown eyes, and a calm aura. He was unmistakably Korean, yet his native attire suggested he was no stranger to Nigeria. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice smooth but accented. It's fine," Chioma stammered, feeling her heart skip a beat. June bent down to pick up the tomatoes, handed them back to her, and with a polite nod, walked away. Chioma stood there, rooted to the spot, watching his retreating figure. She didn't know what it was, but something about him left her breathless. 2 days later, Chioma was in church helping decorate for Christmas when she saw him again. He was sitting in a pew, deep in thought, the Bible open on his lap. She nudged Ngozi. "Who's that?" Ngozi followed her gaze. "Oh, that's June. His mother is Nigerian, and they're visiting her family for the holidays. His dad's Korean. He's so serious about church, he even volunteers to lead prayers. Such a sweet guy." Chioma couldn't take her eyes off him. The way he carried himself, tall, confident, yet gentle, was unlike anyone she had ever met. Over the next few days, she noticed him everywhere, at choir practice, during youth group meetings, and even at the Christmas bazaar. But no matter how many times their paths crossed, he barely acknowledged her. And yet, Chioma couldn't help but admire him. His quiet discipline, his unwavering faith, and his kindness to everyone around him only made her heart yearn for him more. During one of the youth group meetings, the leader paired everyone into teams for a charity project. To Chioma's delight, she and June were assigned to deliver Christmas hampers to elderly church members. As they walked through the streets, Chioma tried to strike up a conversation, making a sound as if clearing her throat. "So, what's it like living in Korea?" June hesitated, then smiled faintly. "It's different. Busy. But coming here feels peaceful. Like I can breathe." Chioma nodded, emboldened by his response. "I found out your Igbo. Do you speak it?" "A little. My mom taught me." Her laughter rang out. "Let me hear you try." June chuckled softly and stumbled through a few Igbo phrases. His accent was terrible, but Chioma found it endearing. For the first time, she saw a glimpse of warmth behind his composed exterior. When they finished their deliveries, June surprised her by suggesting they pray together. As he prayed, his voice steady and sincere, Chioma felt her admiration deepen. Just when Chioma thought she might finally be getting through to June, Caleb arrived. Caleb was a charismatic member of the youth group, always quick with a joke and full of energy. He was good-looking and knew it. From the moment Caleb set his eyes on Chioma, he made his intentions clear. He complimented her every chance he got, found excuses to sit next to her, and even offered to walk her home after church. At first, Chioma found Caleb's attention flattering, but her thoughts always drifted back to June. She couldn't help comparing Caleb's boisterous nature to June's quiet strength. June, meanwhile, seemed to grow more reserved. Chioma noticed how he avoided her during group activities and how his jaw tightened whenever Caleb was near. One evening, after choir practice, Chioma caught June watching her from across the room as Caleb handed her a small wrapped gift. Their eyes met for a fleeting moment before June turned away, his expression unreadable. The tension reached its peak during the Christmas Eve service. Chioma was part of the choir, and as she sang, she noticed June sitting in the front row, his gaze fixed on her. But when the service ended, he disappeared before she could approach him. Outside the church, Caleb was waiting for her. "Chioma," he said, holding out a bouquet of flowers, "I know we've only just met, but I really like you. Would you consider going out with me?" Chioma was taken aback. She glanced around, and her heart sank when she spotted June standing under a tree, watching them. His expression was hard to read, but there was no mistaking the flicker of hurt in his eyes. I need time to think about it," she told Caleb, her voice barely audible. That night, as she lay in bed, Chioma's mind raced. She couldn't deny that Caleb was charming, but her heart belonged to June. Yet, how could she tell him when he seemed so determined to keep his distance? The next day, Chioma arrived at church early to prepare for the Christmas Day service. As she arranged poinsettias by the altar, she heard footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw June. "Chioma," he began, his voice hesitant, "I need to say something." Her heart pounded. "Yes." He looked away, his hands clenched at his sides. I admire you. More than I should. But I don't know if I can." "Can what?" Chioma prompted, stepping closer. Before he could answer, the church doors burst open, and Caleb walked in, calling her name. June stiffened. "I should go," he said quickly, brushing past her. Chioma watched him leave, her heart aching with unanswered questions. As Caleb approached, she forced